believe it or not, I was a student from Rosamond Elementary School all the way up to Rosamond High School. Well, I'm kind of known for one thing. I was the captain of the football team of the first homecoming, 1967. When you open up the double-page spread, that's me. It's incredible. I'll never forget that time. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to tell you that I wrote a book. Wrote it with this thing here. Oh, and that's me somewhere out in North Carolina. I think we were talking about writing books. Oh, doing a radio. And it looked something like this. I really tried. My writing partners, I just took our time doing this. At times, I believe I laid an egg. But we did it, and this is what's in the package. This is what's in the package. And me and the Peanut, I guess we're kind of hanging out a little bit in North Carolina and New Jersey. So anyway, what I gotta tell you? Oh, yeah. Gotta tell you about the book and why I'm sending it to the library. Well, I guess I have to start at the beginning. Yeah, I'll have to start at the beginning. So it starts like this. My parents, Barry and Riley Smith, moved from Bakersfield, California to Rosamond, California in the year 1956. My first school I went to in this area was Del Sur School over in Los Angeles County School District. And then from Del Sur, I transferred in the third grade that was into the Unified School District. We lived off of Gaskell Road. In our day, going to Rosamond was a long way, but little did we know years later that the freeway was less than a half a mile away from our front door. Some of the craziest things that happen in life. We thought we were so far, and oh, we were so close. But anyway, it was fun growing up out there in that crazy place. But we enjoyed it. We really did. So, I guess I'll have to talk a little bit about the partner that helped me write this book. Underneath, you'll see quite a few of her activities that Karen Parker is engaged in. And this book is courtesy of Karen Parker. You're going to see it go through many transformations. She once was my writer, but she never got to it, not to write one thing. So anyway, I had to finish it. But I let everybody know what the original cover did look like before I put my name all over it. It wasn't my idea. But anyway, this is the person who wrote the story. Kern. And yet, the piano keeps falling on it. It'll never go away. I swear it. So, what do you do with a book like this, written by a guy from the Mojave Desert? About seagulls, about taking that first flight, sitting on the perch, being the one that you will have to wear the mantle for the family, and everybody will blame you if it gets taken away. So anyway, this is our little company, Audio Dreams, from Paper Dream Manufacturing. Looking at the label. A lot of information here. And we're gonna ride this. And the book is about the train. The train. The train. Well, from Rosamond School, what can I tell you? I ended up putting my fingers in a lot of things. I didn't know I could type. I knew I wasn't good at shop because I set out the fire alarm and got thrown out of the class. I flunked 4th grade, really wasn't that smart, but I really was. Everybody thought I was not all there, but I really was. I flunked because I was sick a lot and I didn't have enough days to cover what I would get transferred to another class. So I was denied moving forward because of not enough days. But that was always kind of crazy. But anyway, here's some of the products that we handle. This is from my late brother Theodore Smith's production, and basically what we did was just showing what you can do with things like optics, right? Cameras that you put on anything and everything. Just a plethora of cameras.
These women, they be choosing. I know what they want, these other dudes, they lame, they losing. Never catch me lacking, cause it ain't no time for snoozing. See me and my team up in the...
In furtherance of the conspiracy and to effect its illegal object, defendants and their co-conspirators committed the following overt acts in connection with the staging of U.S. political rallies, as well as those as set forth in paragraphs I through 7, 9 through 27, and 29 through 58, which are realleged and incorporated by reference as though fully set forth herein. 60. On or about June 1, 2016, defendants and their co-conspirators created and purchased Facebook advertisements for their March for Trump rally. 61.
In honor of Black History Month, Cody Urban uncovers the story of a man with humble beginnings in slavery who lived the American dream and was influential in building the city of Rosamond into what it is today. Let's take a look.
Very dignified, businesslike, very professional, passionate.
Reggie Graves shares some insight upon the life of his grandfather, Charles Graves. In Kentucky, 1856, Graves was born a slave and found his emancipation in the aftermath of the Civil War. Like many Americans of the time, the dream was to head west, and west he went, seeking land for himself. En route to the Tehachapi Mountains, he settled in what is now the city of Rosamond.
He noticed all of the green, the pastures and the this and that. He knew that there was water here. So he just virtually got off the train and started life.
Along with success in farming, he tried his hand at mining.
He was feeding the cattle, and on the way coming back, on the backside of the Tropical Gold Mine, he noticed a rock that was shiny and discovered it was gold and filed a claim.
14 years after arriving, he became Rosamond's 6th United States Postmaster.
To be entrusted in that position that early for African American was just phenomenal.
Rosamond has seen a number of changes throughout the years, many of which got their start from one man, Charles Graves.
It was 4 to 6 families that owned the majority of Rosamond, from the high school up to the mountain, all the way almost to the library was all the property.
Property that now makes up a large portion of the city, such as Rosamond High School, which sports a field named in honor of his son, Robert, for his dedication to the school. A dedication stemming from a passion for education instilled in him by his parents, Charles, and his wife, a school teacher named Cordia.
There was no school here, so he built a school, and she virtually was the first school teacher. And it was just expected that education was just as natural as you and I are breathing.
Which made a heritage of education for his descendants while living a life that was a credit to the African American community.
You know you're from good stock. You have a certain reputation to live up to. You feel good about yourself because you know from whence you came.
From the humble start in slavery to living a legacy that still affects the Antelope Valley today. For Time Warner Cable News, I'm Cody Urban.
to get to our website, and that's sdcog.net. sdcog.net. That's the short form of it. But anyway, you're looking at basically our download page. It's our solutions page. And here is in the SDC software download section. Now I tried to select all the software that I could find that fully functionally works. Or basic things. Now, you buy Reddition, you get other kind of gloateries and other kind of goodies, and you get upgrades, okay? And if you want to, you're trying out product. And most of this product, 90% of it, we have actually tested. And the ones that didn't make the cut are not here. But what's called Take It, Make It, Be Creative. Alright, it's basically for projects using the PC. We kept it simple, very simple, not too hard at all, and you'll find just everything from synthesizers to digital audio workstations, including our very own from Coleman, Keston, and Smith software. We have the Harlow, which is run on the Adore engine. Alright, like I said, we basically write plugins, and we've done some modification to this program. And you can download this program, and you can change the color of the knobs and do all kind of crazy things with it. And it's a GUI, and it works for us, and I think it's fantastic. So give them your support too, and you can download it. Oh, and other things we got is that these are mixing tables. Alright, you can do things with voices. You can emulate voices. You can just basically dive into a voice feel and just tear it apart particle by particle. Alright, and then we have other small programs that we don't have pictures for that are useful. Alright, everything's some of the old days of software that still work. And can you believe here, this is an automation engine. Okay, just like you do for cartoons. Alright, so anyway, I guess it's commercial time. Take it away.
Let me tell you about my girl. She's the sweetest loving woman ever walked into this world. I'm crazy.
Hey, there you have it, Theodore Smith, and that's his Third Eye series. And back to our solution pages. But if you click right in on the when you go to the home page, you'll see the picture of the young lady with the third eye. Click on it and you can order yours from there. Okay? You really can. And also, we're going to get back to what's downloadable in our unit called SDC software. It's a giveaway. We want you to take it and download it. We pick software that you can use practically to do everything musically. Can you believe you got software here that you got, that's your own suite for doing your office suite. Okay, everything for office suite. Quite unique, huh? Yeah, quite unique. What other things you think you got? tons of VS plugins. Alright, lots of plugins. Alright. But anyway, not to digress from our story. In Rosamond High School, I was taught how to read at the Rosamond Library. It was in the old location, and the school was just right across the lot. And with the time off, I waited for my mom, who worked in the cafeteria and also ran the PTA for a while back in those days. It was simple. Just being a crazy kid growing up. No violence. I think I was a more violent person than anybody. Not violent, but I stayed at the library. I read more than anything. Why? Well, my teacher, the one who flunked me, the one who I hated forever, and then I finally realized she did me the biggest favor in the whole world. She gave me one up, one edge up, one step up. Just one. Wasn't anything outrageously crazy, but that one step up when I quit being angry and find out that, wow, I could really make this work for me. And I did. So Miss Thomas, as I said in the earlier part of this, she flunked me, and I flunked 4th grade. But oh boy, did I learn so much. Again. And for the second time, you got a chance to hear it. But it made sense the second time around. I never forget setting my first time in the little Rosamond Library, the little small branch. I figured it was about, maybe it had about 10 rows total of books. And Mrs. Thomas came up to me, looking down at me, looking at some book. Don't know what it was to this day. She goes, "Mr. Smith, if you're gonna go to college, you're gonna have to read 20,000 books." Well, I looked at her and I said, 20,000 books? I said, I better get started. Well, I ended up reading the majority of the books in the library. Always had my head buried in those wonderful books. Those things that got me through, got me over. And one other thing that really changed my life while I was there, Rosamond. Remember I told you earlier in the show that in the wood shop I set out the fire alarm. You know, I really couldn't see the wood. Couldn't see, period. And it was a router, and I used the wrong side of it and just smoked up the place. Anyway, I got tossed out on my keister. So my mother, well, got to find something else for you to do. So she put me in a class with nothing but girls. And the class was bookkeeping. Great. I was the only guy in class. Well, there was another guy in class. His name was James. And James could type like crazy on those old Royal typewriters. And we had to learn bookkeeping and typing, taking notes, small shorthand, little bit of shorthand, but quick notes, learn double entries, learn how to write checks, learn how to basically keep a business, do taxes, write letters, acceptance letters, rejection letters, typing and typing and typing. I learned more than I thought I could ever learn. Didn't even know that stuff existed. I got hooked. So when I found out I was pretty high in the class, because I'm not a cute guy, wasn't really all that in demand, but I had skills. I had great typing skills. So anyway, one day after class, one of the young ladies came up to me and asked me if I could help her on the school newspaper. And I said, the school newspaper? She goes, yeah. I said, I didn't know we had a school newspaper. She goes, yeah. And you're one of the first typists. So anyway, I had to take these stories and had to balance the paper out, balance out the small columns. You put spaces and double spaces in between words to make it all balance out across the way. And then you use hash marks to load up a spot when you were short. Incredible. The old days of really writing a story and putting it into print. And we did it with a mimeograph machine. I got hooked. I really got hooked. So I learned how to write at Rosamond High School, Rosamond Elementary, which basically was Hamilton Junior High. Hamilton Junior High is where I learned how to write for the first newspaper. That was interesting. More interesting than I want to talk about. Thanks for the bell. But anyway, you see some other wonderful products down here at the bottom of the screen. That's at the top of the screen. That's a PBX unit. Digital PBX. You can run an office anywhere. Anywhere, okay? That's incredible. That really is. And there's other great products. You can run a whole business. Okay, you can run a studio. You can do everything. We try to think about the artists. You can create a whole company. I mean, it's everything that you need at your fingertips right here. If you got a good PC, you can do this. If you're watching this, then you've got a good enough PC. These are low impact software pieces. Alright? But anyway, back to Rosamond. Why I love the place so much and why they got these books. Well, I got these books here because one, I need some place to put some history down to show them that I'm still a road runner. Two, I have to give something back to a place that gave me something first. The love of books. The first love of books. I have never been happier. I guess that's why I went into radio and I do the crazy stuff I do. All about the books. You know, living in Rosamond, we really did live in the gateway to the stars. The music was different because the music we listened to were from the kids who had just come back from Germany and England and Japan, Australia, Korea, Japan, Guam, Johnson Islands, God, just everywhere, England, just everywhere. one or two from Panama, things like that. So we had a plethora of influences. Every once in a while I do write a song that works. Most of the time I don't. But I learned my musical skills from Howard Siegel. Taught me how to count. And once he taught me how to count, and I can keep a beat, then I heard James Brown. And it was all over with. I love James Brown. I got addicted early. It was different. It was very different. It was nothing like it. I mean, I loved Ray Charles. I loved, the Platters. I also loved the Jayhawks. Stranded in the Jungle. I also loved Lee Rogers. Oh, and Marvin Gaye. And my girl was really, really Mary Wells. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how I could done my work in the summertime without Miss Mary Wells. Car door open and me with a pitchfork tossing the busted hail bales into the trailer to get him back to the cows. Getting them out the field and collecting the wire and listening to my God, Temptations. Learning how to form songs. Learn how to write. Learning that when I was listening to Mary Wells and Temptations, who couldn't get a hit at the time, but they were trying. But the ones who was kicking it was Marvin Gaye. Again, Mary Wells. Marvin Letts. Okay. Martha and the Vandellas. Elgin, the Monitors. Leo and the Lepers. I mean, the list goes on. Got indoctrinated by those guys. Totally indoctrinated. Can't say no. But I thought I could write some songs. I really did. And hearing this one guy in the summertime, Lee Rogers, meeting him in a record shop out in Marlin, Texas. Not physically, but on records, in the record bins, where I've told this story before, where everybody else's record bin had maybe 10 records in it. And this guy, Lee Rogers, he had a record bin and he had about 50 records in the bin. 50. Everybody else had 10. And when the girls got out of the cotton fields on Friday night, they'd push you out of the way. I watched that record bin just dwindle within an hour. And one of my prayers, I guess, was I want to find out who that guy was. Lee Rogers. Who's Lee Rogers? I'd like to meet him one day. And I've told this story before. I met him, ended up writing with him, writing for him, being his producer. Went to Motown Records as an artist, a songwriter, and a record producer. I don't know how lucky I got. I don't know how lucky I even got to this path. I mean, I'm not cute. I'm not talented. I have no talent. Zero. None. I have a muse that used to come into my body and play the songs. Like I tell people, I said, I can play something and record it, and a day or two later, I can't even play one note of it. Can't even play it back. I don't know how that works. I don't know how a person like me, who's written over 1,300 songs, can't really play his own music back. I found out that I really have a timing error, I guess. I mean, I can play it back, and I play other things too, but I always try to find the crack between, the note between the cracks, and it's been my thing. Rosamond Schools was the one that got me through, and that library. Boy, it could be the most fitting person that the school is named for. The Miss Wanda Kirk. Oh, every time I got called into the principal's office, back in my younger days, it's not what you think. She set me down. First thing she gave me was a Hershey's chocolate kiss in a silver wrapper. It was great. She goes, "Hey, I need your help in making this life better for me. Why don't you go outside and cool out for a second? I'm not gonna send you back to class." It was not that I was bad or anything, if I don't remember correctly, but you usually get sent to the principal's office. You did something, and I know I did something. Probably pulled the girl's hair, her ponytail or something. It had to be something stupid like that. What do you do when you're in 5th and 6th grade? Okay, so anyway, I know I made it to the, she called me to the office to tell me that I had made the band. I had made the band. And Mr. Siegel came and put in my paperwork to let me know that I had made the last chair in the band, because one of our students left a vacant hole, so everybody moved up one chair, and there was one chair for me, and I was up against 3 other people, and I got the chair. So went this great, beautiful picture that you see in the yearbook back in the early days when I was in 4th grade. I'm in last chair, but I'm also at the greatest shot for getting a picture taken too. That's exceptional. I have a dog here that just likes to pull all the towels and everything down and beat them up like they're crazy. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, learning in Rosamond School, it was incredible. I got grades I didn't know I could get without even cracking the book. We basically had one-on-one teaching. I couldn't tell you what is it like to go somewhere to be the smartest person in the class, or to take a government test and find out the FBI has got to come and put you in a special room and make you take the test again because they swear you were cheating and you score higher than the test that you did score on. It's incredible. Anyway, I got a crazy dog. Well, what you hear is what you get, I guess. But anyway, back to more of our software. As you can see that we tried to give you the best it's like a rummage sale. You gotta tear through the boxes. But with the right software, you can do many, many things. We tried to give you a plethora of choices to help everybody work out. Okay, from MIDI pianos to synthesizers to DAW stations, DAWs, digital audio workstations. Alright? And we got a lot of old software and new software. A lot of software that's sturdy, that's been proven over the time and over the years that you can get done what you need to get done without binding up the machine with unnecessary code. Alright? So anyway, back to our little Rosamond episode. What did I do in Rosamond? Well, after learning how to play in the marching band, I decided to get in a rock band. We had several. I think some of the early ones were Al and the L-Tones. And then we had Disasters, the Gents. Oh yeah, that was fun. But that's the one we got signed to Glen Records with in Palmdale. Then when I couldn't get them to work out, then I went on my own. Then we started a little group called Purple Olive. And we were actually the second band in town. The first band in town was Lynn Henson. S. Lynn Henson. Samuel Lynn Henson. And his group was called Sunny Motion. And they were real rockers. Very good. Anyway, I think Lynn got voted out of the band, or he just wanted to do something else. He came over with us. And we decided to go to the studio. I wanted to do studio work really bad. I loved records. I was going to make us some records. And we did. We ended up going to the studio, cutting our own music. Didn't sell out like anything that we thought, but it did do one or two things. It made everybody know you had a record. And yeah, our first record sucked. Oh, horribly. But now I look back at it and going, well, we were trying. But eventually, we ended up with some songs that worked. Mary Beth. From 1968, 69. Wrote songs with everybody, including David Hasselhoff, believe it or not. But we also had, the band was actually split in two. Purple Olive. Purple Olive was Purple Olive, and then our second persona band was called Ranji. And that was with Bobby Mandoff. On the Purple Olive side, our band was with Billy Foster, Rich Landau, and the Gilchrist brothers, Ernie and Pepper. Oh wow. That was my other band from that group was called Broken Toys. So we actually had three bands. For me. Then of course I had me, Kenny Smith. And going from music to writing software was really not a natural thing. It kind of happened by accident. And the accident happened like this. Hewlett Packard had just come out with a scanner. Biggest problem with the scanner, at the end of a sentence that had a period, it would put 2 spaces before and after each period. And they tried and couldn't get out. So I had, the discs were big, 5/8 probably did. So you take an old Commodore VIC 20, VIC 64 puncher and pop the end of it with it unlocks the disc and you got access to everything. That's how they locked discs back in the day. So anyway, I ended up decompiling the software because it was easy. It was back in those days, everything ran in DOS. GW Basic, I should say. And what we ended up doing was that I ended up rewriting some of the code, and we called it Snapper. And Snapper snapped up the spaces and made the thing work. Upon showing that to Hewlett Packard, I was given 10 black and white flatbed scanner printers for solving their problem with the line of code. And at the time, each one of those printers sold for $600 a piece. They gave me 10 of them. That's how I got into the business of writing software. And then from there, I ended up writing other software. A little ditty called Checkmate. One of the first checkbook writers in DOS. You may not know a lot of the software I've written because it has no names. They're more like little checksums in software. Machine code. Little things that you'd never see. You never can pay for. Little snippets of code that does crazy things. I don't make a lot of software you use, but a lot of software you use, I make better. Okay, and that's what we do. Data mining is our term that we started way back in 1993. Data mining and data overload. And my oh my, at the time of this recording, Stormy Daniels is the biggest star in the world, especially in the United States, and they're going crazy. President Donald Trump is going crazy because he can't shut this girl up. He wants to snuff out her First Amendment rights where she can't talk. Which brings me to the next point. I saw the movie Straight Outta Compton. Fantastic movie. Tells it like it is. Tell it like it was. One thing it told, the First Amendment rights. The whole movie is about the right to sing a song. Free speech and how we take it for granted. Yeah. So they did this new song called F the Police. One of their biggest hits, one of their first biggest hits. You know, with Ice-T, Ice Cube, everybody, Eazy-E, on and on. And these guys are just making music for the hood. They didn't think it was going to go nowhere. They really didn't. They just thought it was going to be just right there. Right there. And just like in Rosamond, with Ricky and Terry and Roland and Lynn and myself, the music we made, it was just going to be for the home crowd. It was just going to be right there. Who knew? Who knew that this stuff would take us all over the world? All over the world. I'm such a lucky person. And like I said, my whole life started at the Wanda Kirk Rosamond Branch Library, 1956, when I first walked into a library on my own to look at books. And it was also in the Unified School District of Southern Kern that I learned for the first time to see a basketball game played outdoors on a little small court. I never saw a live game of basketball. I was hooked. I was really hooked. But anyway, hope you enjoyed our little story, the Rosamond Library, and a little bit and how I got through this. I don't know. But anyway, go to our website, you guys. Check us out. Go to our radio stations and check us out. All right? And like I said, we got a lot of software that you can download. All right? And just dive into it. Be creative. Give something back. And that's what we do, is giving it back. Thanks for watching.